11 News is 6. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday afternoon. We'll get to all of our top stories and more in just a moment. But first, you can check out that forecast. Meteorologist John Birchfield. John, do we have some storms in the mix coming up here?
Yeah, Michael, there is going to be some thunderstorm activity overnight tonight, mainly after midnight, but there have been a couple pop-ups over the course of the evening, and a few strong wind gusts will be possible between about midnight to daybreak. Most areas are drying out. However, there is some strong storm activity in far northern Monroe County. There is actually a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 p.m. for northern Monroe County and southern Washtenaw County. Also into Lenawee County, there is another storm that is bubbling up just to the north of Tecumseh. We'll keep a close eye on that one as well. There were some thunderstorms that impacted Ottawa County, pushing over towards Port Clinton and the islands. That one has greatly dissipated over the last 30 to 60 minutes. And we are looking at drying conditions out towards Maumee Bay State Park for Barefoot at the beach this evening. Looking off to the northwest of us, the main event tonight is going to be some of these heavier clusters of storms near Milwaukee and Chicago, and those are set to arrive well after midnight tonight. Overall, the greatest severe risk is going to be far to the northwest of us in that yellow shaded area, but a couple of stronger storms may still be possible as those clusters move on through. I'm going to break down the full hour-by-hour timeline coming up in just a couple minutes. Michael?
All right, John, we'll see you in just a little bit. The Fulton County Humane Society is asking people to properly drop off animals after an animal abandonment incident happened Saturday morning. A post on their Facebook page says when employees arrived at work, they found 2 kittens left outside in a crate with no food or water and covered in their own feces. The post says not only is this distressing for the animals, it's illegal. The shelter warns while they are at capacity, they will help find a proper home for anyone struggling with their pet, and they're currently trying to find who left the animals behind. Back again for the 24th time, Barefoot at the Beach is one of the largest fundraisers in Toledo, bringing in money to help support local organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club of Toledo. And it's taking place right now at the Maumee Bay State Park. That's where we find our Dominique O'Neill. Dominique, how's it going out there?
Yes, Michael, things are just getting underway right now. This is for a benefit for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Toledo, and right now I'm joined by the president and CEO of the organization, Jim Robbins. Mr. Jim Robbins, just tell us, what is the biggest impact of this event? It's been around for more than 20 years.
Yep, this is our 24th year, and this is the biggest fundraiser and most fun event that we have in Northwest Ohio, but specifically for the Boys and Girls Club. This one event, the funds that we'll generate this evening will fund one club for an entire year of operations. So this is really impactful, really important that if you want to help support the children of Northwest Ohio, but also want to have a good time, come on out tonight and enjoy yourselves at Maumee Bay State Park.
Tell us what makes this event unique. There's so many different events that go on in fundraisers. What makes this one stand out?
Well, number one, it's what we're supporting, and that's really 60,000 children in the Toledo, Ohio metropolitan area that are really in need of some structure and some after-school programming, number one. But more importantly, this event, we bring together the top 34 to 40 restaurants in Northwest Ohio. You get to come out here, get a taste of every single restaurant. You have live entertainment, and then we have fireworks that cap off the evening, and it's all in Lake Erie, and it's a wonderful event, and we encourage you all to come out.
Just kind of tell us, how do you guys get this organized year after year?
It's a labor of love, but it's one that we have down to a road process. So 24 years in the making. We map everything out starting the day after this event shuts down for the next year. It's a campaign chair that does wonderful things. Jamie Messer, who's with me today, is one of this year's campaign chair people. And it's just getting together and just mapping out the process and just focusing on the mission.
Just kind of tell me what makes this unique. Again, like I said, makes it stand out because it's been going on year after year. And what's different this year?
Well, this year, we've added more restaurants. We've always been hovering around that 30 to 34 restaurants. This year, we're up to 40, number one. Number two, we have food that instead of just turning it off at around 10, 11 o'clock at night, is running through the entire event. So if you're hungry, you want something, an appetizer at the end of the evening, we've got you covered. And this year, the fireworks show is going to be even better than before, which is always a treat for everybody.
Just kind of tell us, overall, the biggest draw, like every year, coming back year after year, and what do you want people to gain from this event, especially take away from it?
The biggest takeaway is that the biggest feedback that we always get is, wow, this is really supporting something that's really important to this future of our city and our community, and that's the young people of Toledo. There are so many kids that are still struggling coming out of the pandemic. They're going through high school right now, junior high, elementary school, and having that little extra help and being able to participate in an event like this gives us a little bit more effort. It gives us a little bit more resources to support those children as they continue to pursue their endeavors for the future.
Perfect. Thank you for taking the time with us today.
Absolutely.
Great, great. So coming up tonight at 11, we'll hear from organizers and also people attending the event and what the impact was on the community. Reporting in Palm Beach Bay State Park, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
Rainbow flags were waving downtown at the annual Pride March as it commenced this afternoon. Thousands marched down Adams Street to show their support for the LGBTQ+ community. Although Pride Month is in June, Toledo Pride holds their annual celebration in August as to not compete with bigger cities. The first Toledo Pride was held back in 2009, making this year their Sweet 16.
When you come out to a Pride and you see thousands of people here supporting, it helps remind you that these people are out in your day-to-day life as well, and that you are surrounded by love and acceptance everywhere you go.
Toledo Pride is still being celebrated at Promenade Park right now until 10 p.m. There will still be live music, food trucks, and of course, a whole lot of love. It's that time of year again where the streets of Perrysburg is flooded with local art. Perrysburg Hearts the Arts brought 100 local artists to take over downtown Perrysburg, filling 2nd Street and Louisiana Avenue with paintings, photography, pottery, jewelry, clothing, and more, giving Northwest Ohioans a chance to view and buy from dozens of local art vendors.
Everybody likes art, whether it's functional or hanging on the wall. It's something to bring into your home, and there's so many options here.
It brings about different mediums, like it could be ceramic, it could be glass, it could be painting, it can be photography, and I like the camaraderie there.
If you missed it today, the Hearts the Arts Festival continues tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And get ready, car lovers. Toledo Memorial Park is rolling out its annual car show tomorrow. From classic cruisers to rare and unique rides, you'll see plenty of showstoppers on display. Families can also enjoy food trucks, 50-50 drawings, door prizes, and plenty of more fun throughout the day. The show runs from 10 to 2 at the Toledo Memorial Park, and it's all for a good cause. Proceeds benefit the Wreaths Across America program, honoring our nation's veterans during the holidays. John?
Well, you may have needed those windshield wipers today with a couple pop-up downpours and thunderstorms, and there is going to be some more widespread rain tonight. I'm going to preview the hour-by-hour forecast coming up next.
Well, we did it. Not only selling out the Toledo St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, but raising a record $2.25 million in this year's campaign, making it the largest St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ever in Toledo's history. Now, most importantly, it is about the mission. With the mission of Toledo's Danny Thomas, supporting children and families that no child should ever face the diagnosis of cancer. Danny Thomas said, no child should ever die in the dawn of life. And this year, this community came together, raising that record $2.25 million. And that is something we can all celebrate.
Hey, we won the freaking St. Jude house!
Hurricane Erin is rapidly intensifying as it tracks above the northeastern Caribbean today. It has strengthened into a rare Category 5 storm with winds near 160 miles per hour. It's located just over 100 miles northeast of Anguilla and expected to grow even larger by midweek. The storm is passing north of the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico this weekend. A tropical storm watch is in effect for St. Martin, St. Bartholomew, and St. Martin. Now, Erin's current forecast track has it staying away from the U.S. and Bermuda. The National Hurricane Center says the storm is expected to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along much of the East Coast and Atlantic Canada next week. So, with that happening down south, the question then turns to John Birchfield. John, can we expect to see any of these conditions affect us in our area?
Well, not locally, but there are going to be some impacts for the coastal United States and for Bermuda as well. There's lots of very warm, open water that has enabled rapid intensification, and you can see the eye of the storm. It is replacing itself or regenerating as it goes through some cycles of ebb and flow. Wind gusts to 195 currently, with sustained winds at 160 based on the latest data on Hurricane Erin. So the latest track maintains that major hurricane status. It is going to weaken to a Cat 4 likely Sunday night and into Monday, but then maintain Category 4 status as it glances through the northern Caribbean and pushes up towards the Atlantic and the East Coast. It is going to be off the coast the entire time. That being said, there could still be some dangerous rip currents and some strong winds right along the coastal New England and coastal United States. Here at home, our attention is on some pop-up downpours that have occurred. There is one shower in far western Lucas County that has redeveloped, but most of the main action has been north of the state line in far northern Monroe and Lenawee counties. There was a warning here earlier that has been expired, but there is still some strong wind and heavy rain potential in some of those cells. Just to the north of Tecumseh, we are seeing several lightning strikes as well as soaking rainfall and wind gusts around 40 miles an hour. That'll be possible. In northwest Ohio, Ottawa County did get some heavier rain earlier between Port Clinton and Sandusky. We are still seeing some light rain right now and dry conditions at Maumee Bay State Park for Barefoot at the beach. I'm also watching these clusters of storms moving over Lake Michigan near Milwaukee and Chicago, and that is going to be the main event tonight. The greatest severe risk west of us in that yellow outlined area, but there still could be some storms, some of them on the heavier side well after midnight. We do dry out briefly this evening, then by about 4 to 5 a.m. there is going to be this line of storms moving on through. It is going to be weakening by that point, but there still could be some gusty winds, and then by about 7 to 8 those storms move out and much of the day is expected to be dry. 87 degrees, turning a little breezy with northwest winds between 10 to 20 miles an hour. Toledo Pride likely to be dry Sunday, especially during the afternoon with those temperatures in the 80s. In downtown Toledo, partly sunny skies are expected. Big impact tonight is going to be those gusty thunderstorms. Still warm starting off the work week, and there is going to be a change in the weather that'll usher in some less hot and less humid conditions. We're going to be in the mid 80s Monday. Tuesday turns up the heat a little bit with a cold front moving on through, and those scattered storms are going to be ending Tuesday night, giving way to a very comfortable feel Wednesday, and that muggy meter is going to be trending down with an overall cooler and less humid weather pattern. The 10-day forecast does bring some less humid days and quite a bit of sunshine ahead heading towards the end of August. Noelle?
All right, thanks, John. When we return, the NFL preseason continues, and the Browns and Lions spent the afternoon on the gridiron. Those highlights and more coming up next in sports.
Hi there, great to see you. Coming up this week on Leading Edge, as the need for them goes up, the number of them is going in the opposite direction. Right now, did you know about 65% of U.S. firefighters are volunteers? But according to the experts, we've lost more than 200,000 of them since the 1980s. So what does that drop in volunteer firefighters look like on the ground?
22 on our roster.
Mm-hmm. Is that high? Is that low?
That's low.
What's a high mark?
We used to have 35, 40.
Who were available at beck and call?
Because everybody used to work swing shift. There was a lot more businesses in town. People were allowed to leave their jobs to go to fires.
Plus, we spent some time diving into the recent investigation into a housing crisis in Toledo and who's bearing the brunt. And this is all happening when, from the outside, Toledo is looked at as one of the hottest real estate markets in the country.
From 2024 to 2025, we saw a more than 2 times increase in the size of the unhoused population here in Toledo. And I wanted to get to the bottom of that. I wanted to know how that came about.
Find us and follow the Leading Edge podcast. You can watch us whenever you want on WTOL 11 Plus and our YouTube channel, or we'll see you Sunday morning on WTOL 11 at 8:30.
Sports brought to you by Jim White Honda. I'm Noelle Blumel. Football fans, it's that time again. NFL preseason is heating up, and today's matchups come with a little extra fire. The Lions and Dolphins have been going head-to-head all week in joint practice, and now they're putting it to the test with the lights on. Detroit playing host to Miami. Lions going scoreless in the first quarter and down 7-0 to start. Second quarter now, though, 4th down, and they're going for it. Kyle Allen connects with Jackson Meeks to get them on the board as Meeks hits the first Ford Field TD Selly of the season. Later, first half winding down, tied at 7. Allen pumps and goes to the end zone as Isaac Tesla, the hometown kid, makes the catch and gives Detroit another 6. Finally, second half tie game. Detroit punting to Miami, but the catch is dropped and recovered by Dominic Lovett, who gets taken down just before the end zone. But they'd end up settling with a field goal on that drive, and the Lions would end up falling to the Dolphins by a final of 24-17. Over in Philly, a reunion between Browns tight end Harold Fannin Jr. and Eagles quarterback coach Scott Loeffler. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel hands it off to Amani Marshall, who runs it up the middle for a 4-yard touchdown. Later, Browns looking to shrink the gap before half. Andre Schmidt to kick, and a viral moment between Nick Sirianni and Kevin Stefanski as the Eagles would try to ice him, but he would drill the 49-yard field goal right down the middle. Finally, second half, Eagles with the ball, but the Browns able to pick it off as KJ Henry takes the 45-yard interception to the house, which would aid in their 22-13 win over Philly. And this week, Ant Henderson was back at Start High School to hold his basketball camp for kids. Henderson was a star for the Spartans back in the late 2000s and went on to play at BGSU. After college, Henderson moved out to Los Angeles, where he started booking commercials and roles in TV. He's a basketball player you see in the FanDuel ads, and a few years ago, he had a few roles on HBO series Winning Time about the Lakers. Henderson says it's great to be back home where it all started and give back to the kids of Toledo.
It's honestly a dream come true. You know, it's something that I've been wanting to do for, I don't know, maybe the last 5 years. It's something I've talked about, been creating, wanting to do. So to see it actually here, it's one of the most amazing things I think I've in my entire basketball career that I've been able to accomplish. So it's a great feeling. I feel like I haven't really been here in a while. So to walk through these doors, it brought me back to when I was 17 and I was here. But that's kind of why I wanted to do it here. I was I've been doing camps, for the last couple of years, but I was just my first one that I host has to be where it all started.
And tonight, the Mud Hens will look to stay in the win column over the Clippers before their series finale tomorrow. First pitch is set for tonight at 7:05, but for now, that's all for sports.
I don't have my IFB.
Oh, I have mine.
Tonight at 11, we'll be recapping the 58th National Tractor Pulling Championships at the Wood County Fairgrounds over in Bowling Green. Presented by Maxim Tire, the event includes 5 sessions that started Thursday evening and they're ending tonight. Truck and tractor pulling is a global motorsport that highlights creativity and passion. Competitors build powerful machines to pull a weighted sled as far as possible down a dirt track. The National Tractor Pullers Association ensures safety, fairness, and fun while celebrating faith, family, and freedom. Make sure to join us for that tonight at 11. A Canadian man can see again after going blind more than 2 decades ago. He underwent a surgery that uses a patient's own tooth to help restore their sight. CNN spoke to him and explains the procedure.
Yes, seeing the skyline.
After going blind nearly 21 years ago, this is the moment Brent Chapman discovered he could see again through his tooth.
Looks really healthy, looks great.
Chapman is one of 3 people who underwent tooth and eye surgery, performed by Dr. Greg Maloney and his team in Vancouver for the first time in Canada.
I feel fantastic. Vision comes back. It's a whole new world.
All 3 patients can now see to different degrees.
To watch them come back into the world it's an incredibly rewarding feeling.
The 2-part surgery, developed in the 1960s, is a last resort for people with severe corneal blindness. It involves removing a patient's tooth, inserting a plastic lens into it, and then stitching the whole thing into the patient's eye socket. Why a tooth? Because they consist of the hardest substances humans produce, making them the ideal casing to bridge the lens, and using part of a patient's own body ensures it won't be rejected. Chapman went blind when he was 13. He's had about 50 procedures done to try and get his vision back.
And we always said to Brent that we would go anywhere, do anything to keep his vision. And here we are.
Chapman says he's now appreciating the little things.
When Dr. Maloney and I made eye contact, we both just burst into tears, and yeah, I hadn't really made eye contact in 20 years.
He's looking forward to spending time with family, traveling and working, not taking anything for granted.
The Dr. Maloney mentioned in the piece is the first to bring the procedure to Canada. We have John Birchfield and Noel Blumel with us here at the desk. Guys, what do you think of that? Tooth in the eye.
I think it's got to change the saying, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Now it's in the tooth of the beholder.
It does.
It works out well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think vision is one of the most amazing senses and experiences we have. But they said that surgery was developed in the 60s. Is that correct? So it's amazing that even all these decades later, that's still, cutting edge in terms of one of those last resort options.
Absolutely, and it really makes you think that maybe you should brush your teeth in case you might need them for eyesight. All right, everybody, we'll see you again at 11. Take care.